Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising. Welcome to my channel. It is such a blessing to be here with you, so thank you for being here with me for your February 2024 recap. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to connect with you today. In the description box below, you will find links to information on personal readings, the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram, and ways to support the work I do here if you would like to explore any of those options. You will also find a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so use your discernment and take only what resonates with you. If you find that something shared does resonate, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment below, and or share this content as it tells YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else, which is a gift to both this channel and to others as well, and I greatly appreciate that support. February brought for us the meeting of Chiron and the North Node, inspiring us to recognize and accept our wounds and activate our own healing. We were encouraged to forge a new path forward, utilizing the wisdom, knowledge, and intuitive truths we've gained to align us with our higher calling. That being said, we're going to look at the overall energy, what realizations or epiphanies came through for you in February, how this might impact your journey moving forward, and getting some messages and advice to best support and serve you. So let's dive in and see what comes through for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Christ, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us please about the overall energy of February 2024 for Leo. What did February 2024 bring for Leo? Oh, good golly. I feel like this one and that one. All right. What realizations or epiphanies did February 2024 bring for Leo, please? What realizations or epiphanies did February 2024 bring for Leo? I feel like holy crap. What is going on? Did you guys have a busy February? I feel like in February, Leo, some of you were releasing things. It did feel that way to me just a moment ago before all the cards fell out. I feel like you may have been through some kind of clearing, right? I feel like you may have had some things come to the surface. Perhaps you were, again, releasing things that maybe just weren't serving you. Okay. How might this impact Leo moving forward, please? Yeah, it really feels like maybe you were clearing some things out. Thank you. And what messages or advice will best support and serve Leo moving forward, please? Thank you. All right. What else do we need to know, please, about the overall energy of February 2024 for Leo? What did February 2024 bring in? Okay, thank you. What realizations or epiphanies did February 2024 bring in for Leo? Yeah, I feel like you guys went through a lot. Thank you. Yeah, Whatever happened for you guys, I think there's been a big shift, even if you are not aware of it yet. Thank you. And what messages? Thank you. Oh, all right. What else do we need to know, please, about the overall energy of February 2024 for Leo? What did February 2024 bring in for Leo, please? Okay, thank you. What realizations or epiphanies did February 2024 bring for Leo? Tell us more about that. Tell us more, please. How might this impact Leo's journey moving forward? Thank you. Any other messages or advice to best support and serve Leo moving forward, please? I actually heard just breathe, so whoever that resonates for. Okay, the overall energy for you, Leo, we do have here the law of destiny. It's written in the stars. What you wholeheartedly desire is your destiny. For some of you, I feel like, how do I say this? Okay, there's a couple of things coming in. One, I feel like for some of you, you may have had some kind of something drop in, some kind of realization or some kind of an awareness to what you feel is your purpose. And actually, I just heard that's too big. So for some of you, I feel like maybe that was your reaction, right? Maybe you had something that, really was ignited within you, that you were feeling very called to, or that you were feeling pulled toward or drawn toward or dreaming about or something. But I feel like your reaction may have been, that's too big. It's not. Whatever that is, it's not. Okay, if that's coming from your soul, okay, it's not. There's a reason why these things come in. And so for some of you, I feel as though this is something that may be kind of new to you, and maybe you're trying to come to terms with what you feel may be your destiny, pardon me. For others of you who may have already had this come in, I feel like maybe it's taking longer than what you thought. And this message has shown up, or something has happened in the month of February to try to buoy your faith, or to reinvigorate that within you, or reignite that within you, or something along those lines, right? It really feels like something has happened to try to bring you back to that state, or to, again, kind of like reignite your faith, or to get you excited about it again, or something of that nature. Yeah. So I feel like something got you fired up about your destiny, or what you feel your destiny is, your purpose. You have here the law of non-attachment. Let go, release, and allow miracles, like I said. Right? I feel as though throughout the month of February, it seems as though there were a lot of things coming to the surface for you to release, for you to let go of. You may, I don't know why, but it feels like for some of you, you may have had like a lot of epiphanies, even if you haven't really fully, how do I say? Even if you haven't really sunk into that yet, or maybe not even realized how much has actually happened, because here's the thing, February flew by in like the blink of an eye. At least it felt that way to me. And so perhaps because it did seem to move by so quickly, maybe you haven't even yet really begun to realize how much you actually did release, which is very interesting. Yeah. I feel like some of you have, maybe you found yourself, the overall energy really bringing forward this path, or this feeling of, I'm the key to my destiny. Something like that. I don't know. I don't know if you watch like some kind of motivational something or had an epiphany or what it was, but I feel as though for some of you, you've really kind of started to see yourself as the key to the universe, right? For others of you, if you're someone who maybe just has come to start to, or you've recently discovered your purpose, or what you feel like is your purpose or your destiny, I feel like February brought through these things that you would have to release and let go of in order to align with that on a deeper level. It's pretty powerful, actually. I do feel like there are doors that have opened for you that maybe you have not come face to face with yet. But it's interesting because I'm just kind of seeing these open doors that are just there, but there's like no, there's no one standing in front of them or anything. They're just kind of sitting there open. So I feel like whatever took place for you in the month of February opened doors that you are not even aware of yet. What is that? What, there's like a meme or something that's floating around socials, or not a meme, but a saying, I guess, where it's like, what is, like, people are talking about you in rooms you haven't even been in yet, or something like that. I feel like it's similar to that, but there's like doors that are open for you that you have not even you've not even approached the threshold of yet. Like you haven't even met them yet, and they're just kind of waiting for you to arrive there. So that's pretty exciting. You also have here Uranus revolution, invention, eccentricity. This feels more to me, if I'm being honest, almost like this establishing of your individuality, really welcoming in your uniqueness, embracing that in a more full way, and perhaps it's even started to create shifts in your experience. You know, here's the thing, Leo. I mean, I'm just going to be honest here for a moment, right? Essentially, you're the sun, okay? You are the sun. The sun is your ruler, and there's this whole energy, and it's not to like inflate your ego, but there's this energy of realizing who you are, that you are meant to shine, that you are meant to take up space, that you are meant to be you. And I feel like the overall energy, whatever happened, however February unfolded for you, I feel like it was to bring you more into that way of thinking, that way of being and existing, where it's like, Leo, there's so much more here, right? There's so much more here for you to give life to. But in order to do that, you have to be who you truly are, right? Like, we can't play small, we can't hide in the corner, duck in the shadows type of thing. I feel as though this Uranus energy showing up for you this month, or well, in February, really was to get you kind of excited about being different, and encourage you to embrace that more fully, regardless of how other people may perceive you or whatever. I just feel that the energy of February for you was really about encouraging you to embrace who you truly are and to love it, right? To take up space, to fill the room, to be the lead or main character in your own life. And I feel like there's this energy of like no holding back. So it's interesting, because there's this law of non-attachment, and it's like let go and release. But what's interesting is I feel as though there's almost this energy of letting go of the boundaries, letting go of the box that you've put yourself in. Yeah, It's beautiful, really. You have here Lumeria creating heaven on earth. It's happening. So again, I do feel like the overall energy for you was to get things moving, right? To really put you in a position where it almost feels like giving you, how do I say, putting like the vision in front of your face of whatever heaven on earth means to you. For me personally, right, heaven is not somewhere out here, okay? It is within. We bring it through our being. We can create that within ourselves. But I do feel like there's an aspect of this where it's essentially envisioning what would be heaven on earth for you. And I don't mean that from a materialistic perspective or like a financial perspective or things like this, but what would it feel like or what would your life feel like if you were existing in a place that was, peaceful, harmonious, that felt good, that was joyous, that was fulfilling, satisfactory, that was happy? What would that look like? What would that feel like? And it just seems to me as though perhaps one of the doors that has been opened for you is exploring that. Maybe you're somebody who like cut yourself off from exploring that previously, right? For whatever reason, maybe you had wounds and trauma and things around lack or something of that nature where it was like, okay, this is what is possible. And for some reason, it feels like the overall energy really may have brought you to this place where it's like, oh, wait, this is what's possible. There's a whole world out there, So that's really exciting. Really, really exciting. And I do feel like there are things happening for you. Again, like I said, I feel like there are doors that are open for you that you have not even stood in front of yet. So let's take a look at what realizations or epiphanies came through in February for you. We have the law of time. You have the ability to bend time with the power of perception. This feels, I'm probably actually going to dive into the guidebook here for this card a little bit. But there is something here, and maybe it's for someone very specific. I feel like intuitively there's some kind of realization of like, it's my time. The time is now. Like, what am I waiting for type of thing. I do find it interesting that there's almost what appears to be like an eclipse on this card. And I don't know what this is about, okay? I'm just going to be honest, but I feel as though something might unfold for you during eclipse season 2024 that maybe really brings whatever epiphanies that took place in the month of February to the forefront. I don't know why. I don't know what that's about. I feel like there's some kind of importance around the eclipse for you, though. Okay, I'm going to dive into the guidebook here to share what's here about this particular law so we can take a deeper look at what realizations or epiphanies may have come through for you. Oh my goodness, you're not going to believe what this says. I'm so glad we opened this book. Okay, so again, this is what realizations or epiphanies February 2024 brought for you. So it says, upon pulling this card, you are deemed the anointed one. It is up to you to make the declaration of who you desire to be and what you desire to experience in this lifetime. Remember, this is not a dress rehearsal. Make the most of every moment. This is the universe asking for your order. rise to the occasion and become the person you have always desired to be. Remember I said, take a deep breath? Like I felt as though there was like just breathe. Rather, I apologize. Am I saying just breathe? So there's a journal and action prompt in this book, and it says every time you notice yourself not being present, take 10 deep and slow breaths. Journal about what you experience. So I feel, maybe you're someone who's been trying to be more intentional about being present in the moment. Perhaps you had a realization around, being pulled out of your body. And this is something, maybe that sounds a little bit odd to someone who's unfamiliar, but we are essentially drawn out of our bodies often. How do I say, we're in a state of like unconsciousness, if you will, a lot of times throughout our day. And you can kind of notice when this happens. So for example, in a video I watched recently, or a podcast I watched recently, there was a gentleman speaking about this, and he was saying, one of his colleagues or friends or whatever it was realized, okay, like the last time, how do I say, he got home from work and like suddenly was back in his body, aware of himself, and realized that he had been essentially sleeping throughout the entire day. And the last time he had remembered being consciously aware, fully in his body, was around like breakfast or lunch or something. And so you'll kind of notice when, you can, if you start to observe, you can kind of notice when you're not in the present moment, when you are out of your body, when you're being pulled away from that, when you're just kind of sleeping through life, and we're kind of, it's kind of when we're just going through the motions, right? We're not really in our body, we're not really aware of ourselves necessarily, we're just on autopilot. So maybe that's something that you had some kind of realization or epiphany about. I wish I could say it as gracefully and as well as the gentleman did when he was speaking about it, but I hope that makes sense. But you may have had an epiphany around that. I love, though, again, that this realization is really about being who you are destined to be. And I feel like this is something that came through very strongly for you if you resonate, of course, with this reading in the month of February. You also have the law of divine will. Stop waiting for a sign. The universe responds to your beliefs. Again, there's this kind of energy of perhaps, you had yourself in a box, or were, dulling your shine, for example, and perhaps have been experiencing life similarly, right? Kind of dull, kind of meh, or maybe, you lost some fire, if you will. And perhaps in February, you essentially were paying attention to your beliefs or your thought patterns and the things that you've been thinking, believing about yourself. And maybe this is where some of this release energy has come from, right? Perhaps the overall energy was really encouraging you to release some of these belief systems that were keeping you boxed in, that were keeping you caged, that were keeping you from stepping fully into who you are and your purpose or your destiny. You have here as well the law of creation. Focus your mind to create your deepest desire. Yeah, again, right? I feel like, I don't know what it is, Leo. It feels like, again, maybe you were just going through it in the month of February. Maybe even before that. Maybe you were just kind of going through it, and maybe things were rather rough or challenging for you. And it feels to me like February was really trying to bring you back, right? It was really like, hey, we really got to start paying attention to the things we're putting out into the universe. We really need to be this active co-creator in our reality type of thing. Because again, there's this energy of like I feel like it's like being very present. And again, the universe responds to your beliefs. And then we have, so if I read this all as like one message, if you will, what realizations and epiphanies did February 2024 bring, right? Stop waiting for a sign. The universe responds to your beliefs. Focus your mind to create your deepest desires. Right? So again, being very kind of aware of yourself, of your thoughts, of your feelings, of your actions, of all of these things, and aligning with what it is you know deep within yourself, which of course, your destiny. For some of you, perhaps the epiphany is, hey, you're a co-creator of your reality. And there's that whole kind of as within, so without, as above, so below, right? So your thoughts become things. You cannot escape what you think, what you feel, what you say, what you do, right? And so I feel like this may be something that you have been, kind of woken up to, or, perhaps this is something you already knew. And maybe it was just like, hey, you needed a good reminder, but I feel like overall, the epiphany or the realization for you has really been to bring you into, however you resonate with this, into alignment with your destiny, into alignment with your purpose, with your shine, with, hey, you're not here to play small, Leo. Yeah, yes, you have Saturn, discipline, obstacles, boundaries. I feel as though, again, the realization is I have to be disciplined. I have to pay attention to my beliefs, my thoughts, right? How I am perceiving my life and time. And, I'm creating my own obstacles. I'm blocking my own blessings by not paying attention to these things, by not being intentional. I feel like this is an epiphany that you may have had. Essentially, like, again, boxing yourself in. The Saturn energy feels like, putting up a fence around yourself or walls or something. And the problem with that is, yeah, okay, maybe it blocks stuff. How do I say? Again, it's like blocking your own blessings, right? Like if you stand inside the fence, you're never going to get to see the world, type of thing. So I feel like the epiphany is really, I'm a co-creator and I have to be more intentional. Oh, there's a lot of fear, pardon me, coming up as well. Yeah, for some of you, I feel like if you are somebody, or maybe even, I feel like this might apply to everyone. But if you had your destiny come in and you were kind of sitting like in this state of fear, right? Because I feel like there's this whole kind of, well, I want God, or I call it God, maybe you call it source or universe or something else, but I call it God, so that's what I'll refer to it as. Maybe you were sitting there like, I want God to show me that this is for real. There's a sense of like disbelief, right? And for some of you, maybe you again came to the realization that you have to believe it for yourself, because otherwise you're just blocking your own blessings, right? You have eros, yes, yeah, eroticism, desire, and sex. So I'm going to be honest, like this, we have focus your mind to create your deepest desire. I feel like this is the epiphanies that came through for you, the realizations that you may have had in the month of February, were to align your heart and your mind with your deepest desire. Okay. And maybe, how do I say this? This might be if you are someone who was recently introduced to your destiny and were like, wait a minute, that's not what I want, that's not what I desire. The thing of it is a lot of times we align with things from a place of wounding, trauma, programming, right? And then when we start peeling back these layers, we get to our soul's true essence and tend to find that what we thought was what we wanted isn't actually what we want. And when we start operating from our truth versus, outdated belief systems and old paradigms and things like this, that's when we really start to align with our desires. But I feel as though for you, the month of February was trying to align all of these things together, your mind, your heart, with your desires. And maybe this is because you've done some healing work. Maybe this is because you released things through the month of February or even before that. And it was essentially to get you back into alignment, to really bring these things forward with more, I don't want to say force, but in a more obvious way, right? Like it was kind of like neon lights in front of you type of thing. Maybe you just, again, for some of you, you could have just recently discovered what it is you truly desire. You also have ascendant, appearance, first impressions, mask. Yeah, for some of you, I feel like you've seen it, right? I was just talking about sometimes we think we know what we want until we start peeling back the layers. And for some of you, I feel like you've come to this realization that you have been wearing a mask. And for some of you, it's been a long time. It's been interesting because this has shown up in personal readings I've done and in membership readings as well. This whole kind of energy of taking off a costume. And I feel like for you, February 2024 really brought that home. Again, maybe this doesn't necessarily resonate with everyone. But it does feel to me like, because we have this let go release energy, I feel like we were, for you, Leo, there was this peeling off of certain masks to get to the truth, right? So, and for some, I do feel like there's been this like, oh wow, I really was wearing a mask, even if you didn't believe that to be true before. And here's the thing, I'm a Leo sun, Leo moon, and for a vast majority of my life, I actually thought that I knew who I was, and I was dead set on it. But once I started healing and peeling back the layers, I realized how little I actually knew myself. And I actually was wearing a lot of masks. So I feel like this could have been a realization that you've had as well. Oh, beautiful. We have Jupiter, optimism, growth, and opportunity. Yeah, so, I feel like there's been this kind of shift, right? Where it's like if I want to grow, I have to take off the costume. It's like trying to stay in your, I don't know, teenage size pajamas or, your toddler size pajamas type of thing. It feels to me like, February 2024 brought for you this opportunity to grow, to really, again, to expand, it just feels like to take up space, to fill a room, to, you know what I mean? To not kind of, again, play small. Jupiter is, yes, a planet of of growth, but it is also a planet of like expansion and understanding. Okay. It's also one of like higher learning or higher education. And so perhaps some of you have learned more about the, soul's evolution and things like this. But I feel more than anything that more of you would resonate with having this realization that, again, if you are going to grow truly, and if you are going to find yourself meeting opportunities, then you have to be optimistic about that. You have to be willing to see that as a possibility, right? You have to see the universe as abundant. You have to see God as abundant, you have to see that there is abundance available to you. And I feel like for some of you, this is a belief pattern that maybe had to change, right? Okay, you also have here, take a break, a life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. Hmm. Interestingly, there's, okay, so this is coming through as it takes a lot of work to be what you're not. It really, really does. And I feel like this may have been that epiphany that you have had or has something to do with it. Perhaps if you started, being more yourself, taking up space, right? These sorts of things, really aligning with who you truly are from your soul. I feel as though there could have been this realization that, holy crap, like how I've been living has been so much work. And this is something that I feel like a lot of people go through on a spiritual journey, or as they evolve spiritually and they start to pull off the layers and start to heal and really get down to who they truly are. There is this realization of how much easier life feels when you're in a state of non-resistance, when you are, practicing this non-attachment, or you're just flowing, right? When you've surrendered a bit, it's you start to realize how much effort that each moment of life has felt like from that moving from that state. So I feel like for some of you, there's been this realization of like, holy crap, I've been working really hard, just existing, because there's that. Again, it takes a lot of work. When we're in a state of resistance, think of it this way, right? It's like swimming upstream. Think about how much effort that takes in comparison to just flowing, just going with the flow, allowing the current to carry you. And so I feel like some of you have, come to that realization, or at least had it brought before you in the month of February. I also feel like some of you probably felt pretty exhausted in the month of February as well, especially if you're someone who started to go more with the flow, be more of who you are. I feel like that, holy crap, like I'm really tired, kind of kicked in. You have here as well, mirror who or what is triggering you. Yeah, so it's interesting because I do feel like there's this realization that when we are clinging to things, when we're holding on to things, when we're in a state of resistance, life is so much more complicated. And with this law of non-attachment, right, let go and release energy coming forward, I feel like some of the realizations or epiphanies that came forward for you were some of the things that you've been holding on to, were some of the things that maybe you were trying to control or were clinging to. And so perhaps, these things came to the forefront and you actually saw it right in front of your face. And maybe you did something to change that, right? Maybe you let go, maybe you released things. But okay, so thank you. Some of you were shown, yes, some of you were shown the things that maybe you're still clinging to. Okay? Things that were triggering you, things that you needed to let go of, things you needed to release, right, in order to move forward. So yeah, some of the epiphanies that maybe you had were of, the things that are triggering you or were triggering you. And maybe that's, why in some ways you were playing kind of small, or had yourself in a box, right? I did get this energy of maybe you were someone who was moving more from a lack kind of belief system, or something that where you felt like you were restricted in some way, shape, or form. Let's look at how this will impact your journey moving forward, Leo. The law of cosmic creation, your thoughts will echo into eternity. Yeah, so I feel like moving forward again, there's this I want to be intentional, essentially, right? Because there's this understanding or this acknowledgement, again, if this resonates with you, that the universe responds to the thoughts you're putting out, the beliefs you're carrying, any fear you're holding on to. And so there's this, thoughts become things, as above, so below. And I feel like moving forward, there's more of this being intentional about what it is you are creating with your thoughts, with your actions, with your feelings, with your beliefs. I also feel like for some of you, with maybe your destiny coming into your awareness, that moving forward, there's that, how do I say this? It essentially is saying, bringing forward this energy of um, making a difference, right? For some of you, I feel like moving forward, you want to make a difference. And perhaps this has something to do with whatever you feel your destiny or purpose is. But essentially, there's this energy of, wanting to leave an impact, or make an impact, to leave something behind that is more than just about you, right? So that's really interesting. You also have here the law of action. Get out of your comfort zone and take bold action today. Yeah, absolutely. Again, I feel as though, there's this urge, I feel, moving forward to just really stretch beyond your boundaries. And certainly, I feel like you will be encouraged or find yourself coming face to face with that challenge of getting out of your comfort zone and taking that bold action, doing something that maybe you've never done before, believing in things that maybe you've never allowed yourself to believe in before, especially yourself. So I do feel, moving forward, there's going to be more of this encouragement or enthusiasm even around getting out of your comfort zone, because I do feel that pull of your destiny or your purpose, I feel like it's stronger than your fear. That desire to create change, that desire to leave a legacy, that desire to be what you're meant to be is stronger than your fear. And I actually just got this message as well. Even if you have to go it alone, right? Even if you have to walk that path by yourself, I feel like even if that's the case, it's still stronger than your fear. You have here Palace, wisdom, skill, self-defense. Yeah. I feel, it's interesting because I feel like there's a big part of your destiny, let's say, that brings forth this skill and wisdom that has been buried within you, right? Maybe you didn't allow yourself to see it previously because maybe you were afraid of it or afraid to believe it even. But I feel moving forward, there's this desire to bring this forward, to share it with other people, right? Whatever your skills are, whatever wisdom you're carrying, each of us has a unique purpose here, unique to only us. I actually heard in a podcast someone describing this as we are each essentially snowflakes, right? Each one unique in comparison to the next, and no two alike. So, I feel like there's this impact on your journey moving forward where you want to share whatever wisdom, skill, gifts, talents that you have moving forward, right? It really feels like this pull to do that. You also have here Capricorn, disciplined, tenacious, resilient. Yeah. Again, I love this because I feel like moving forward, there's this more like I'm going to make this happen energy. This very driven, very determined, very persistent energy. This I'm not giving up. And it's so powerful. Like, what a beautiful place to be. Um, it feels like really, really grounding into whatever whatever you are meant to create in this lifetime, like wanting to really, really bring it forward, no matter how long you have to wait, no matter how patient you have to be, right? I just feel like there's almost this sense of obligation or responsibility. Like I have this obligation to share what I'm destined to do. I have this responsibility to my destiny to fulfill it, to bring it forward. Again, no matter how long I have to wait, no matter what it takes, like I'm going to keep pursuing this no matter what. And that's powerful. It really, really is. There's a huge, huge level of determination that's coming through with this. And we have, you have Saturn here with discipline, and of course Saturn being Capricorn's ruler, and then here it is. So it's just really, having this realization and then applying it as well. So I feel like there's something there about that. Again, like I create my own boundaries. I create my own obstacles. I block my blessings. So if I'm resilient and tenacious and I just keep going and I'm determined and persistent and disciplined, like I can make this happen. Again, very powerful. You have here as well in Rama, where are you being called to journey to? For some of you, this actually may move you, like physically move you from one place to another, because you may feel called to actually get out of wherever it is you've been. Whatever living situation, city, state, country, I don't know exactly what this may be for you. For others of you, interestingly, some of you may be called to go on some kind of pilgrimage, some kind of spiritual journey somewhere. For others of you, I just feel like this is more about essentially going where you've never been. And what I mean by that is essentially just finding yourself on a new path. Finding yourself in what, like a foreign place almost. Um, you, like, I've never attempted anything like this before. I've never tried anything like this before. I've never pursued anything like this before. Like, it just feels like going on this like your own soul journey, your own soul evolution or evolutionary unfolding, right? It feels like for some of you moving forward, there's just this calling to pursue your path. You also have here Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. Yeah, I feel like moving forward, there's more of this kind of leaning on spirit. I mean, we have law of divine will, we have divine orchestration, right? There's this destiny energy here. So I feel like moving forward, for some of you, there's this leaning more on, God, the angels. Maybe you're praying more, meditating more, things like this, really trying to strengthen or deepen that connection to those helpers in the subtle realms. For others of you, I feel like moving forward, again, there's this whole kind of, I don't know what this is, you guys, but for some of you, there's this very strong connection to things being divinely orchestrated for you or divinely planned and following that. Right, feeling deeply connected to that. Again, there's this resiliency, this determination to follow that, right? Follow that divine plan, follow what you feel your destiny is. Again, I just want to come back to this law of time card for a moment, so bear with me for a sec. So I just want to read this again. Yeah, so, right, it says, upon pulling this card, you are deemed the anointed one. It's up to you to make the declaration of who you desire to be and what you desire to experience, right? This is the universe asking for your order rise to the occasion and become the person you've always desired to be. So I feel like, again, it's interesting because there's this connection between this is my destiny, this is what I want, and I have to make that happen. That divine orchestration. I feel like some of you, again, for some of you Leos, there is this energy coming through here of like, God said this. God told me to do this. Or, whatever. The universe gave me a job to do. I don't know however you see it, okay? And I feel like for some of you, moving forward, maybe that's where that determination comes from. Like, this is my destiny. This is what God told me to do, and I'm going to do it. So, wow. That's pretty powerful, Leo. Let's look at the messages or advice to best support and serve you moving forward. You have the law of gender. Embrace your divine masculine and divine feminine within. So whether you are of the male or female gender, we have both of those energies within us. We have both of those polarities, right? We have both divine masculine and divine feminine energies within us. And so I feel moving forward, right, there's this, again, I mean, it's embrace, there's this message to embrace both of those, right? So essentially that's taking on both, interestingly enough, a science or let's say, okay, let me back up a little bit. It's taking on the more sciencey masculine energy with the spiritual feminine energy. It's taking on the more thinking masculine energy with the feeling feminine, or the more outcome oriented masculine with the process oriented feminine. It's bringing forward the assertive masculine and the gentle feminine, right? The mind and the heart. Both bringing through all of this together, right? Working on ways to balance that out. That natural or divine masculine, right? There's elements of freedom with the masculine, connection or belonging with the feminine. With the masculine, right, there's that confidence. We're looking at this from, by the way, a divine or natural state in the masculine or within the masculine energy. There's confidence, inner strength, that responsibility, of course, courage, there's discipline, there's more of this decisive energy, this focus, and having boundaries. With the feminine, right, there's unconditional love, there's nurturing, compassion, creativity, tenderness, flowing, right? Surrender, this ease or allowing energy. So it's bringing both of those aspects of yourself forward, nurturing both of them, bringing them into a more harmonious or balanced state. and doing so intentionally, right? Embracing both aspects of yourself, bringing forth those qualities within yourself, those energies within yourself. And I feel like this is going to help you in whatever your purpose is, whatever your destiny is, whatever your calling is. I feel like this is going to help you to move through that with more ease and in a much more powerful way. So let me just grab the message here for this card. If I can find it. Okay. All right, so it says here, by drawing this card, it indicates that your higher self desires to give birth to a new creation. Let go of feeling frustrated. Each thought is the masculine impregnating the feminine aspect of universal law and setting it into motion. This principle is the confirmation of the ever-giving, abundant nature of your creative powers. The universe is a canvas of your thoughts. Be open and available to receive the seeds you have sown. Within all creation is the masculine and feminine. The masculine is the aspect of manifesting that implants the seed of fertility. The feminine is the subjective womb of life that births the creation into form. Every thought is the masculine. The manifestation process is the feminine. All demonstrations in the 3D realm are the culmination of both. Okay? So I feel like this is important. I feel like this is something that is needed to remember as you move forward, right? Especially because we have your thoughts will echo out into eternity with that law of cosmic creation. We have the law of creation, right? So focus your mind to create your deepest desires. And so I feel like that message was coming through for you in order to better understand essentially you creating your reality, right? You creating your experiences. We also have lunar eclipse, culmination, release, illumination. So again, there's this eclipse energy. The lunar eclipse is on March, I believe, 25th. So I feel like that eclipse season for you, Leo, I feel like it's going to be important. I think it seems to me that between now and then, there is a message for you to continue releasing anything that may come up, anything that you may find yourself being illuminated to, especially when it comes to restrictions, boundaries, or obstacles. And I do feel like for some of you, this is not going to be for everyone. This is not magic, okay? But I feel like for some of you, there's something about things like culminating, things coming to a head within that eclipse season. Okay. Very interesting. Again, that's not for everyone. Just want to be clear. But there's something there. We also have, we have awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. So again, the message that's coming here for you, I feel, Leo, I feel like you are, if you've resonated with this reading, I feel like you are moving into a new way of being. I feel like you did, through the month of February, experience energetic upgrades. And I feel like as you move forward, you are going to be integrating them and experiencing a new way of being. I feel like you are going to think differently, move differently, walk differently, breathe differently, right? Just all in all, live, exist differently. And I feel like there's no going back. Like you have now seen the truth, right? You've been illuminated to a lot of different illusions that you were existing in, right? And I feel like there's no going back now, which super freaking powerful. My gosh. There's almost like this, for some of you, this is not going to be for everyone, but for some of you, there's always, or pardon me, there's also this kind of like refining energy. There's something about whatever's unfolded for you, I'm getting over the past couple of years, that is being refined as you move forward. You have Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. So I love this for you, Leo, because you have that council of light with divine orchestration. There is this energy of divine will. There's a lot of this supportive energy that's been coming through, really trying to, again, like I said, align you with your destiny, encouraging you to fill up space, take up space, to shine, to be who you truly are. And to leave behind a legacy through what it is you're meant to be bringing through your incarnation, your existence here. And I do feel like moving forward, it's important for you to remain connected to your intuition, to those deeper callings, your intuitive nudges, to God speaking to you through you. I feel as though certainly discernment is incredibly important. I cannot stress that enough. It's far more important than most people, and especially in New Age, will bring forward, because New Age tends to be very much like love and light everything, and we live in a world of polarity. Okay? There are forces that are, we'll say, dark, and forces that are light, and it's important to be able to discern one from the other. However, I do feel that you have a tremendous amount of support. I feel, oh, thank you, that's interesting. I feel like there are some of you out there where your heart is being activated. And that's pretty significant based on my beliefs and my understanding of things, because Christ resides within our heart. And it feels to me like for some of you, that Christ spark is being ignited. So take that as it resonates with you, okay? Feel free to maybe look into that more deeply, to explore that on a deeper level. You know, maybe you want to look into the work of Rudolf Steiner or Christian mysticism. Gigi Young has an amazing channel on YouTube that maybe would interest you. But I really feel here that moving forward, it's going to be important for you to continue connecting with your inner self, with your soul, with your intuition, with, you know, Christ within you, with God within you, right? I think it's important because I do feel that you are being divinely guided. I feel that you are trying, I mean, even before we got to this point and this card was here, even before the Council of Light card was here, there's this energy of aligning with destiny, which I feel like is not an accident. I feel like you're having help from the other realms. I feel like you are being guided to move into that space, you know, fulfilling your destiny, fulfilling your purpose, being who you're supposed to be. Because I feel like there are those of you out there who can make incredible, incredible contributions to humanity. But in order to do that, you have to take up that space, right? You have to align with it. But I feel, you know, there's where that guidance is coming in, is trying to encourage you to do so. So, really powerful for you, Leo. My gosh. I think it's going to be incredible to see what you guys do moving forward. Thank you so very much for being here with me, Leo. It's been an absolute pleasure. I pray that something here has blessed you or resonated with you in some way, shape, or form, provided confirmation for you or value for you in some way. If it has, I would like to remind you to please do the YouTube things. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment below. It really does help the channel to grow, and I'm so very grateful for you doing any of those things. So thank you for that. Wow, this feels so amazing for you, and I pray that you are as excited for you as I am for you, because this is absolutely amazing. Again, thank you so much for being here. Take care of your growing, expanding, unique, beautiful, magnificent soul. Peace be with you and within you, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.